So there's always things on the job site for beginners, all the way up to reading on a laser level and things like that.
Hello, welcome to Opportunity Knocks. I'm your host, Todd Patton, and today you're going to see two double, because it's not just Jessica. Again, we have a bonus guest today, and that bonus guest is David Roger. David, so good to have you here, and Jessica, so good again to have you back to back. I love it. Welcome, both of you. And David and Jessica have now been running. And I'm excited about this because I'm here. We're actually on site at Atlantic Harbor Marine Construction, and I just got a little bit of the backstory. I want you to tell me the whole story of how the history, because there's a lot of history here. How did you become the owner and partner of this business?
Okay, well, thanks again for having us. Jim Gorman is the founder of Atlantic Harbor. It was called Atlantic Harbor Seawalls at that time. And he did my seawall several years ago, and then did my neighbor's seawall, and then my father's seawall. And throughout that process, we became friends because we talked a lot. And he was telling my dad one day, I'm getting too old for this. Jim's been doing seawalls and docks right here in Fort Lauderdale since 1984, so 41 years.
Wow.
And he's it's a taxing. He started out as a worker, and now he's owns his own business, and he's done very well for himself. But it's been a hard 41 years, and he's kind of looking to retire. So
was he the guy that went in the water and
I go in the water weekly, daily. Sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. For 41 years.
I'm jumping ahead a little.
41 years. So Jim, like I said, we kind of became friends throughout this process of my wall and my neighbor's wall and my dad's wall. And he was telling my dad one day, he was just kind of getting excited of this. I had done real estate for 25 years, mainly commercial brokerage, and was looking for something new myself. And I looked at a bunch of different existing businesses. One was a plumbing company, one was actually a patio furniture manufacturer in North Miami. I looked at just several opportunities. And my dad, when Jim and my dad were talking, he said, "I'm getting kind of told you should talk to my son. He's interested." So after knowing, I just gave Jim a call and said, "Hey, let's go to lunch." And we sat down and we talked. And if you meet Jim, you just fall in love with the guy immediately. He's such a good guy. He's really a big heart.
Salt of the earth. Down home. Good old boy.
So we went to his office, and it was kind of like stepping back in time. He had files hanging on the wall. And
is this where we're at now?
No, different location.
Okay.
So we sat down, and I don't have a construction background. I mentioned I was in a real estate brokerage. So to me, when we first talked about buying Jim's business, I originally turned him down because I didn't have the construction background, and I knew that in order to grow his business, I would need to do things differently. Not in the construction way. There's nobody out there better to build a seawall than Jim, but maybe the back office needed improvement, and that's not where I would have excelled because I don't have a construction background. So I told Jim no. Maybe a month or two later, my dad did his seawall, as I mentioned, and we had to go pick up a floating dock at the marina and tow it to my dad's house so he could set it up. And Jim and I spent about 2.5 hours on the boat together. And like I said, he's just
then you realize what a quality. So wait, during that period, were you still looking, because you still were looking at different options?
At other options, yes.
And so you were still in not sure what you were going to do.
That's right. I was doing real estate, not sure what I knew I wanted to get out and try something different, but I just didn't know what it was. So then get Jim on the boat 2.5 hours later, I'm going, you know what? I got to figure out a way to make this work because I love Jim, and to work with him would be awesome.
Now, talk to me a little bit at this time when you bought it. Was there a staff here? Was there 6 people, 10 people?
Okay. So Jim had his wife, Shannon. They're not officially married yet, but so she kind of ran the office, and then he had 3 guys that were out in the field kind of as the workers.
Okay.
So one crew, a 3-man crew.
All right.
And then Jim would oversee the guys in the field in the daytime, and then he would do like proposals and sales calls and stuff in the evening.
And just for reference, you say field, like the guys that were just here, that's people that are in the like doing the docks and the seawalls.
They work in the water a lot.
Yeah.
As Christmas gifts, Jessica and I bought them all wetsuits. because they
That's
need
so
them.
cool.
Yeah.
What an awesome gift. That's good. That's great.
So after getting off the boat, spending time with Jim, and when you buy somebody's business and they plan to stay on with you, you really become kind of married to them. I mean, I spent a lot of time with Jim, and I knew that after being on the boat, I had to figure out a way to make that happen because I wasn't just buying the business; I was buying into Jim.
Awesome.
And he's such a great guy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's all about people, right?
It's
That's
all
what in business is all
relationships.
relationships. Yeah.
So my first call was to Jessica, and I said, Jessica, I've got this seawall opportunity that I'm considering buying. And I don't even think I got to finish the sentence before you were like, yeah, I'm interested. and it was like that. And then we went to go meet Jim in his old former office. And
were you thinking of this in getting in this type of industry? Like, because obviously you're not at all. Like you never thought. You were just like, when he brought it, you're like, what? That's a
well, because of what I do for the last 20 years,
yeah.
I understood the opportunity that is, this business right now in this time. So, it's like, just like with custom home building, we used to sub out more things. I started thinking maybe I should get my roofing license.
That's what I'm saying. Is you were thinking of
roofing license, but I never thought of the seawall dock, aspect, just because it's its own animal. It's like its own crazy world. It really is. It's very different.
But
so not specifically, but
and just like with Dave and Jim, with Dave, you're like, this is a guy that I have a history with.
We've been friends for, I don't know, 15 years.
Her husband's
probably.
like my best friend. JD,
amazing.
And then, we've been friends for many years. So
awesome.
God,
I love it.
Longer than 15 years. But whatever.
I love it. That's awesome. What a story.
So, my first call was to Jessica. She was like, yes, let's go meet Jim. So I think you felt the same way with Jim.
Right away. Walk in, he's just got that old raspy voice. He doesn't wear shoes. He's just like, his hands are rough and dirty from doing the work. Again, like he's the owner of the company.
Oh, I love it.
But he's the work animal. He's the workhorse, and just.
Did you see a lot of the same things when you came 19 years ago into Patterson? Did you see similar things like, wow, there's a lot of potential here? I can
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Down here, everything's building, growing, traffic. Everyone's moving here, and so.
And plus, water's not going down. I mean, it's
not any more of it either. That's the thing.
The
values of these homes are going up and up. And, and as she knows, and as everybody watching this, I'm sure knows it. There's a lot of houses, very nice houses, being torn down and building brand new. And if you're going to build a brand new home, you need to have a new seawall. They won't allow.
You have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity in this business. So when Jessica and we had our own discussion, I said, I know I can do the sales part and I can learn from Jim, but I really need your help with kind of how to run the business of construction.
Yeah.
And,
sure.
We've hit it off. We've been friends for a long time, but I think we've worked really well together too.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the unknown.
We're very different, which is very good.
Yes.
Awesome. I love that. That's so great.
But no, we worked very well together, which again was the unknown. We've been friends for a long time, but how do you work with somebody is no until you try.
Been lucky.
And it's lucky is the right word, but it's worked out very, very well.
Timing was right, it sounds like, and luck. But real estate, because that's a very independent type career, right? Like you're kind of on an island by yourself and you're doing it. This doesn't seem like it's independent. This is like a very collaborative. You have to have your crew up. How has that challenge? Has that been a big challenge?
I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the things that I was really lacking was being part of a team with the real estate thing. And even though you work with other realtors and there's other people in the office,
it's not
like
still
this.
individual. Yeah,
this is a real team, and we, these guys with the people that we have that work on our sites, that's a real team. And if you don't work as a team together, the job's not going to get done well. And we're all a team. We call each other a family. When we interview people, we say, listen, we're both family people. This is part of a family. This is like our other family. We really stress that, and being part of a team, that's what I was missing in my life. So that's why that's one of the reasons I love this.
I love it.
So much.
What an answer. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Very good. And speaking of that team, you mentioned, I think Jim had 3 people outside his girlfriend slash wife.
That's right.
So yeah, his soon to be wife. How did you hire people? That's to me the biggest challenge today, in especially in a service type business like that, is staffing it right and getting that.
Finding good people with experience that want to be part of a team
with mutual, ambitions, and also
exactly culture fits the culture. Exactly. How did you guys do that?
We used word of mouth through guys that we know, and we did place ads, and we interviewed.
Wow, really? So you did
we turned on a lot of people because. So
you had a lot of people interest in it.
Oh yeah.
I've heard that it's so hard to just even get people just don't want to work. I mean, I don't know. I was similar to you, Dave. I was a year and a half ago looking at, this is before I started this business, One Home. I was looking at buying a pest control business, I was looking at roofing. I was looking at all different. I was really and I'm like, I can't do this because everybody I talked to that owns one, they said the staffing is just so difficult and they're not reliable. They don't have that ownership, like that feel of, like they just talked me out of it. And I said, now that I'm back in it with One Home, and I'm always interested to hear how you overcome that because it's hard. First of all, it's hard motivating people to get them to buy into your vision, but I just think it's even harder when you don't have anything to start with. Because so you're saying you did the old school approach of they interview, I guess, put a job out there, they come in.
Yeah.
Was there any process that and I'm sure you've learned a lot from being at Patterson, having the construction for 19 years, interviewing people and seeing that. Did that help?
I think a lot of it is trusting your instincts. Mm-hmm. And, we have agreed every single time that when the person walks out the door, we both are either like, nope, that's not going to work, or, oh my gosh, he's perfect.
It's almost perfect. Scary.
It's been really seamless for us, which is surprising. And I think we've been surprised too at the quality that we've gotten, because like you're saying, I was nervous. I know in a home building, I have a hard time finding experienced, laborers, framers, drivers.
So these are all experienced. You don't have to train you're training them your way, obviously, but did they have, is it an industry? Because to me, it seems like a very small industry.
It's a niche thing. And like I said before, it is definitely its own, animal. It's if you have experience framing a house, there's nothing to do with, it's not the same at all as, framing a seawall.
So we inherited Lyndon Rodriguez, who is our foreman, who you got to meet as we were.
Oh, he was the one that came here.
Yeah. He's got a lot of personality. He's a great guy.
We got to have him on the next episode.
Oh,
he would have hours and hours of time with him. But so he is really how the process worked is we would get applicants. We would kind of run them through him, and he would talk to them first, and then he would say, okay, these are the 3 or 4 that I like. You go ahead and interview them in person. So then we would sit down with them. And like she was saying, it was like almost like crazy that we would have the same thoughts about each person that we talked to. Like, we loved them, we didn't like them, this, that, or the other. And, one of the big things was, are you able to get in the water? Are you afraid of water? Can you swim? Sure. We spend a lot of time in the water. So that's kind of the
or
first
even
question.
Near water, right? We need to make sure there's a good chance you might fall in the water.
They've all had experience. They've worked.
Okay, so Lyndon, going back.
Lyndon has experience.
Yeah. He's been with Jim for 7 years. Amadeo's been with Jim for 7 years, and Kevin is the newest at about a year and change. And then we hired 3 new people who had construction experience, not necessarily with seawalls, but construction.
And how have they done?
They've done great.
The 3 are still with you?
To water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the wetsuits. That was good. I liked it. I got it.
So with as long as you can, use a level and swing a hammer or a sledgehammer, and you can willing to learn
direction.
We have Lyndon and Amadeo kind of as our foremen for more experienced things, and then we have them. They're learning their way up. So there's always things on the job site for beginners, all the way up to reading on a laser level and things like that. So we can find place for you, but you need to have that drive. You need to want to work. And we've been so lucky, I'll tell you, it really kind of, it's going to sound corny or whatever, but it kind of warms my heart. These guys, they work hard. They want to work hard. They provide for their families.
So good.
We've been so lucky with who we hired. And again, they're the people that the customers interact with. So we really, listen, guys, you're going to $1 million houses for the most part. You need to treat people with respect. Make sure you don't park on their lawns. Make sure you clean up. Don't leave trash laying around. These guys have all just taken that and run with it, and it's really
awesome.
been great.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the future. What do you see happening down the road? Like maybe 5 years down the road. Let's look back. Do you see growth with Atlantic Harbor, and then where do you see that growth? Is it going to be, obviously there's 4 core services that you have, but could there be another one, or are you going to stick with what you guys are, these 4 services, or?
I'll start, but I'm sure you want to jump in on this too. But we're going to stick with our core business.
Yes.
Seawalls,
I was glad you said that. That's what I was going to say. I was like, oh boy.
No, we're going to stick with our core business because that's what we're best at.
Yes.
Docks, seawalls. We will add boat lifts at one time. We work with other boat lift dealers and installers, but we don't do that as our own service yet. So that's something that we're looking to get into. But no, we will stay with our core. We don't want to. We want to be masters of our few things versus
love it.
Of just being done. So
awesome.
That's our core. We also do want to get a second barge.
Right.
We do have ways that we want to grow our business, but we want to stick with our core.
And when you say core here too, like South Florida, I mean, there's enough business in
right here.
Definitely. Yeah, we're not looking to travel. There's no reason to.
No. I mean, we would do a little bit North Miami. We're already in Boca, but really Fort Lauderdale, Oakland Park, this area right here, there's enough.
Yeah, so much.
Really, right now we've got 2 crews and 1 barge that has its own crew. I'd say 2 years from now, we expect to have at least 4 crews and 2 barges.
All right.
Crews. So
great. And that's awesome. I love it. And that business, it's all in South Florida. I mean, you don't need to go anywhere else. There's so much business here alone.
This is where it is.
And we didn't even talk about, like we talked a little bit about earlier, but out west, lakes, like there's still like your core business is east, right? That's where
it is. But I was thinking about this as we were talking, like the new communities that are being built. There's new communities being built, Weston, whatnot like that. So new, lakes.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to need new seawalls. So, but.
Golf courses have contacted us about doing their seawalls around their lakes. And again, it's a different type of a material and it's different, but it's still what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
sure.
I love it. Well, let me tell you, it's been amazing. So good meeting you, Dave. Jessica, so good seeing you again. And thank you for being on Opportunity Knocks, being part of One Home. I'm excited to grow with you guys, and this is exciting.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.